got it done. And I know I got one over here too. And got it. All right, y'all. Peace and greetings to you all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hassan Ghazi Obey here in Morocco at Northwest Mexico. How are you? Guys, welcome to our Intuition Monday, where we're going in on the natal chart based on the news report A Rodden rating chart on Zoë Isabella Kravitz, right? So that's what we're going in on today. And I am here with our magnificent and beloved brother, in whom we are well pleased. And he is
Islam, peace and love, Pazia Moor, Oxymore, I can't remember them all, Bonjour, all those different things. It's a good brother in Christ, but the Shannon Ale, you already know that all is well. And kind of like one of my favorite introductions. What was that other appellation, bro?
Brave Yeah, always fun. Guys, we're going in on Zoë Isabella Kravitz, right? That's what we're going over today. She has a Libra ascendant, moon in Virgo, sun in Sagittarius, right? Libra ascendant, moon in Virgo, sun in Sagittarius. It's a nocturnal chart, of course. Analyzing the sect pertaining to the chart, it is definitely a nocturnal chart, where the most malefic planet in the nocturnal chart is that dominant Saturn there. Jesus, where's Lady Christ? What's very interesting, though, it's funny how in the center of Brother Sean's chart, you can kind of see this dual trine that's taking place based off of a couple points in the charts. This is muy interesante, right? However, to kind of show what we're going to go in on here, we're going to go over a few things. Of course, the sect is important, so pretty sure we'll go in on some things pertaining to that, showing how this is a nocturnal chart. If we did do something like break up 35 years that she will have completed, 35 years out of the womb that she will have completed, entering her 36th year, right? So she'll be celebrating 35 complete on the 1st December. What I actually recognize, if we did divide that, by 3, that would be 12 years apiece, right? Or 12 years for the triplicity at this moment now. And it's interesting to just like, if we were to analyze, let's say the moon, for example, it's in Venus triplicity. We're talking Earth here. So is the MoMA, right? In that order, the triplicity would be Venus, Moon, and Mars. Since this is a nocturnal chart. Daytime, of course, it would be Moon, right? Moon, Venus, Mars. So with that being said, and I trust I'm looking at the triplicities correctly here with what I just said. And let me see. Oh, pardon me. I said that in reverse. Nighttime chart is movement, right? So moon's in its own triplicity. Forgive me, right? Let's correct the record and switch those around. Yep, moon is in its own triplicity as we're looking at this here. So for the nighttime chart, it's movement, moon, Venus, and Mars, and during the daytime is Venus, Moon, Mars. All right. So the moon is actually, to me, it looks like it's in the highs too, Brother Sean. It's nocturnally placed in a nocturnal sign in a nocturnal chart. So it would be in highs. Even though it doesn't have the highest score, but its conditions is definitely not exponential. At least I don't think so. Right? However, what I'm going to do is, besides just, looking at that, and me just going in on set just a little bit there, you guys will see in very soon what we can, just have a little story time about. All right. We're going to have a little story time, picking a certain path. Brother Sean's going to go in on what he has to give testimony on, and then I'm going to just back him up, ad lib, with what I have as far as what I'm seeing. with her chart. We're going to look at her solar return, her progressed. We're going to look at what else? Natal chart, solar return chart, secondary progress chart. Probably look at her for Daria perfections and Zodiacal releasing also. I'm just going to give a pinky nails clipping of these things just to show and then say what we need to look out for. And then Brother Sean will be closing out with we're going to do some Wikipedia-ing, which we always take with a grain of salt, but we're going to see with some of these things that we see in perfections and solar arc direction and things of that nature. What could have been activated at certain years, and then maybe look for those ones that are in the years to come to see things that have passed already. We would have to just leave that to maybe autobiography of some sort or something. Right. With that being said, I yield the floor to our beloved brother in whom we're well pleased, Brother Sean Alino. Islam.
Islam, bro. So yeah, as you were saying, just the sect, right? We say the sun's below the horizon, so it's a nighttime chart. And the most malefic is Saturn, which Saturn is in its own sign. So Saturn's good, Saturn's Gucci, right? Being at the degree of sight. And also like a very powerful Taurian degree as well in the third house. So when it just comes to early childhood education, I talk about community and neighbors. Maybe she just hung around the older people more. Maybe when she was younger, or the older crowd was attracted to her. And just looking at sun, moon, and ascendant, she's got the sun at 9 degrees Sagittarius, Mercury conjunct, and as we can see, hey, it's a Kazemi, right? Just 1 minute separating off exact. And it's in the sign of Sagittarius and the Sagittarius degree. So it's things foreign, movie, travel, things of that matter. At the degree of homicide, so maybe she maybe had some kind of homicidal thoughts, or she was earlier, maybe just things that were foreign to her didn't make as much sense. All right, she's got her ascendant at 10 degrees Libra, being ruled by a detriment Venus, but with some accidental dignity, right, being in the second house. So let's see, we think of Venus and Scorpio, we think of others' money and just seeing the beauty and maybe the unseen and secrets. It's in a semi sextile with Sun and Mercury. So all these are at 9 degrees. So once again, it's just coming back to Sagittarius. So optimism, publishing, travel, religion, all those matters for that. As brother sign was going in on the moon, being in Haze, and also being in a Venus terms here. All right, 10 degrees Virgo. It's Capricorn degree. I think that is no, it's not the astrology degree. It's the purifying, cleansing, reducing, simplest essence. So maybe she just really was able to keep things simple. I think simple things always worked out to her. When maybe she might have been kind of in the push and pull between what she's feel what's nurturing to her and authority and communication that's foreign to her, compared to the things that she sees for herself or that she has organized within herself. And moon's actually conjunct its south node at Virgo. So yeah, just being of service. And it's in the 11th house, being ruled by his sun in the third. So yeah, really just being creative. Like it just made me think if she was like the one, or maybe while she was growing up younger, just always like organizing and collecting things, or yeah, collecting, organizing. We look at her Mars. Her Mars is dominant, right, in Aries. So that's good, for these three matters. Good sex, a Venus actually trining Neptune, right? Separating, and Neptune deals with movies, service, institutions. So yeah, unless one really like took precaution, it's like an opportunity to like overindulge in things due to like anxieties and thoughts, possibly drugs as well. And her Neptune is conjunct the part of fortune, conjunct the part of courage. So yeah, it's just really given like embracing one's own darker natures, but for a better sense rather than embracing them for a lower self sense. Uh, for that, right? Yeah, the Kazemi, think about movies. And then she's got her Uranus and Jupiter. They're both at like, let's see, 29 degrees. Taurus is like imitation acting, degree of a famous actor, and so is 29 degrees Sagittarius. So we can clearly see in this chart how it was to be in movies. And with Uranus and Jupiter actually being in an conjunct, things are challenging. Yeah, probably just playing different roles of parts that she normally or her mind wouldn't have done, but in order to further some career or image or reputation. Um, with that, with Uranus being like revolt and change, Jupiter being the guru, the expansion, sun degree. So yeah, pretty cool. And Luna's actually ruling the midheaven and a separating trine with Saturn ruling her home. And it's at 11 and 10. So yeah, yeah, moon's in good condition. So um yeah, really just I don't know if she maybe had like a diet change or something. Maybe she was like allergic to that. She had to change her diet and purify herself from eating. You know, and we can maybe look at a few more things, right? Looking at the chart. All right, like I said, that Mercury's ruling the 12th and the 9th. Sun's ruling the 11th. So things might have just really been able to be clear from just working through our friend groups and just like through meditation and being introduced to like foreign cultures and practices, right? And with that, I yield, bro. If you got anything else you want to go in on?
Yeah, man. Because like I said, I was really just timing us. But yeah, that was just great, bro. So to ad lib and to back bro up, I'm thinking, okay, looking at the triplicity, right? Um, well, as far as looking at sect, right? And this is a nighttime chart. Final dispositor when analyzing the sect leader, when analyzing the moon, final dispositor is Mars. And the dispositorship, as tracing it back to Mars, goes Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, which I find to be very, 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 very interesting, right? Which ultimately, with the nighttime team being Moon, Venus, and Mars, I'm able to, with even tracing back the dispositorship, starting with the moon and going back into seeing that the final dispositorship by whole sign would be Mars. I know when looking at this Placidus chart, some would say, well, it looks like it's toggling between, Jupiter and Venus, right? Or let's see. Yeah, toggling between Jupiter and Venus, possibly, if we were to look at, traditional rulership over the signs in Placidus. However, to be direct, I'm going to look at things firstly for right now, just at a lens of whole sign, while still overlaying it, transparently overlaying Placidus on top of the whole sign, as that's how it looks to me already. Honestly. However, I will say if we go from Mars to Venus to Jupiter to Mercury to Moon, we'll have an outline of why her moon does what it does for her career, ruling over her 10th house, right? And what I got first and foremost, just analyzing her set pertaining to her chart, I see that this is an energy, a being who either has or needs a daily routine in order to kind of get rid of like a spiritual excretion of self-activated relationship hindrances, like maybe the reason why interactions with certain beings didn't work out a certain way. It could have been romantic, could have been platonic. However, there are maybe some things that are self-activated that could have been a hindrance to that relationship. So maybe there's some daily exercise needed so that that doesn't occur. So maybe this is someone who has some type of practice, maybe yoga as an example, to be able to help them navigate throughout their day, govern themselves accordingly. So taking that daily routine and being able to love augmenting what she inherently possesses. So, you know, let's say she got something from her mother or something from her father, a quality in her personality. She loves to augment that quality that's been inherited. So she'll find a way to, you know, make it look even better, so to speak. And filtering that through expanding the values that she's learned from mother and father, or even from grandparents, right? Expanding those inherited values by actually studying them and studying from them and carrying that into actual relationships also. All right. By being one who is actually studying. Now, I'm not saying it's like in any way positive or negative. Maybe it's open, like, hey, I want to learn this from you, or I'm watching you do this. Maybe that's what was done from, you know, being a child. All she had to do was watch and then she could do something, right? However, I think looking even now, if we were to take the natal energies now to just look at it for what it is, there's this energy of being able to study from relatives and or loved one that's like a consort. And that energy is filtered through that Mercury. So, and I'll recap where these planets are after I give this testimony. And so she's able to do these things by communicating global ideas, but in a local fashion, because she doesn't want to, you know, get ostracized or treated like she's odd or weird. So I think there's a way that she communicates all these things that we've said, as far as having a routine that isn't self-deprecating or making people think that she's hindering any type of interaction, by augmenting what she inherently has, expanding those values by actually studying or learning or paying extra attention to her elders in some way, shape, or form, and then being able to have some global ideas about that. In other words, seeing how does that work in the world, or how to express that, you know what I mean, globally, so to speak, without being disliked, without coming off, I guess, you know, a certain way distastefully to the observer. And finally, that is the energy from that Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury now is allowing the moon to filter all that energy, all right, under a square with the sun. Moon's just coming off of its third quarter moon, or, you know, last quarter moon in her chart, where there's a means to always have in her home some type of, like, it's almost like the home is like a resort, a yoga studio itself, so to speak, but or has the essence of our home being that which is set up like some type of form of shared spiritual service, right? And that is only done in order to stimulate core thoughts, in order to really bring to the forefront a means to always have an idea flowing, a freeness in the mind happening, so that there's no stifling energies that take place, because that could be maybe one of those things that hinder interactions with others. All right. And again, that dispositorship going back from the moon in Virgo in the whole sign 12th, Placidus 11th, under the dispositorship of Mercury in Sagittarius in the whole sign 3rd, Placidus 3rd, under the dispositorship of Jupiter in Taurus in the whole sign 8th and Placidus 8th, which is under the dispositorship of Venus in Scorpio, all right, in the second whole sign and second Placidus. And that's finally under the dispositorship of Mars in Aries in the seventh whole sign, sixth Placidus, as far as the house systems are concerned. Moving on to her Fedaria, she's under a Mars Mercury Fedaria. So to me, that's going to have some seventh and second house activations dealing with, relationships and values, or relationship values, things of that nature. Mercury, ninth and 12th house, right, is activated with Mercury being the sub period in our Fedaria, higher learning, spirituality. So, maybe there's something in needing to possess the relationship and have global isolation, or allow ones to be globally isolated. Like, let's isolate ourselves, from the world, and be able to really grab hold of how one another is relating. So this is also an energy where she can be learning from her mother and other experienced mothers as much as possible about motherhood and early childhood development, and how to ignore criticism about relationships, right? So that's kind of what I see as far as this Fedaria period. I think it's from maybe the December 1st, 2022 up till I think December 1st, 2024, where she goes in from a Mars Mercury into a Mars Moon Fedaria. And I just think that energy that I just read there of her, really 9 times out of 10, she could be considering something dealing with motherhood, or she's doing something in activities with mothers and early childhood development. That's just kind of what I see kind of strong. By her being when she turns, right now she's in an 11th house perfection at 34 years completed, but she's about to complete her 35th year, because remember, the solar return is a celebration of a year completed, right? So she will be completing 35, or some people say she's turning 35. However, I would also like to point out that she's entering her 36th year on that particular solar return for the 35th solar return. All right. So with that being said, when we look at her 12th house perfection, right, she's coming out of this sharing type of energy ruled by, the sun. Her whole sign 11th house is Leo. So the sun there in Sag, right? Under Jupiter's dispositorship, and let's remember now, Jupiter is under the dispositorship of Mars and Venus, as I just read, right? With Jupiter at the fate, favored by fortune degree, dramatic area, famous actors degree, right? So there's some things that's definitely come out there also, you know what I mean? Brother Sean had pointed that out to me last night. I was like, Jupiter at famous actors degree. That's very interesting. And then Venus, which is seemingly out of place in exile. However, both the traditional and the modern planet for Scorpio are very strong. So it makes me think, in some way, shape, or form, she kind of gets her way. Not negatively saying anything, but there's a lot of things that does show too that there's a bit of a forwardness, sort of an unapologetic wording. Some people will probably say, she doesn't get her way, she acts spoiled, or she has a short temper, if she doesn't get her way. I mean, some things show that. However, I'm thinking the tendencies to express them in, a way where she may be like seeking closure, especially when it comes to this 12th house perfection, being able to seek closure in a gracious, in a gracious way, right? To kind of activate her purpose at home and career. So more of the theme of motherhood and something, to the point where I'm even thinking that there's some considerations of her really thinking to herself, how could she go about, maintaining, or what can she set up contractually speaking, maintaining that with her career and balancing that with relationship, possible motherhood, even if contemplating, matrimonial obligation. her zodiacal releasing for spirit, right? When speaking about her career, I found that very interesting. It's Leo, one on all four levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, which is Leo, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Virgo. So just looking at those energies there just kind of lets me know when it comes to her career. She's possibly seriously contemplating motherhood, like I said. Is a loosing of the bond 3 days after her solar return. So on the 4th of December, she got a loosing of the bond at like 1 p.m. Eastern from how I'm seeing. It might actually be, since it's doing it from the end of Venice Corporation, it might be 1 p.m. Pacific, actually, right? And it's pertaining to an event that only Zoe knows that took place on the 21st of October, 2023. So that's the level 4 period, what I'm looking at. She's having a loosening of the bond on the level 4 period, right? However, when it comes to looking at her level 3 and level 4 periods for her fortune, right? And fortune, all 4 levels is Aquarius, Cancer, Gemini, and Aquarius. I'm looking at it like, okay, so with that energy right now, it's, she's possibly getting involved again with uterine health and childbirth by volunteering in health events. I wouldn't be saying, hey, look, if I'm loud and wrong, cool. People can, let me know. Let's pay attention, I guess, if you want to pay attention to Zoë Kravitz and see what it is. Maybe she's depicting something in maybe a film or something, and it seems like that's what's coming up. And I know it sounds like I'm spitting a theme here. I'm gonna keep rolling with it, right? So that's on a level 4, loosing of the bond, possibly getting involved with that. That loosing of the bond, however, on the 9th December, which is 8 days after her solar return, and that's going to be also at 1 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be pertaining to events that took place on the 26th of October. So the 21st of October, something took place pertaining to her career, where she's having a loosening of the bond on level 4 period, 3 days after her solar return on the 4th December. And then when it comes to her health, right, we're looking at the loosing of the bond for an event that took place on the 26th October. And the loosening of the bond is taking place on the 9th December, which is 8 days. So, and again, these are just things to look out for. Who knows? Maybe something will come up on news, or maybe, you guys will, hey, I watched the movie and it had Zoë Kravitz in it, and this is what happens. Or it's funny you said that. She wasn't necessarily, dealing with motherhood in the movie, but for some reason, she kept going past, a pregnant woman in the movie or something. Like if it isn't largely obvious, there'll be some small clues there that ones can see, right? Brother Derek Blash Bay says, Islam, everyone, and Mother Sahar says, peaceful greetings to all. Islam and peaceful greetings. On a level 3 period for her fortune, right? Fortune is held level 3, 15th of December, right? 2023 at about 2 Central in the afternoon. She's having a loosening of the bond, and it's from an event that took place on the 6th of July, 2022. All righty. So, and that loosening of the bond is going to take place 3 a.m. Pacific, right? And again, what's loosening of the bond? Loosening of the bond is just like, it's an event that's very pointed in one's life. And, in that event, you will be, you will actually notice that there's something huge that changed in your life in some way, shape, or form. Even if it seems like it's something social and it's subtle, I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, if you went back and look at, the dates pertaining to when you're noticing these changes or whatever, or you're recalling when, those changes began taking place, you'll see it 9 times out of 10 be tied to your zodiacal releasing and loosening of the bond that's taking place there also. Brother Sean, comments, questions, and no suggestions on that before I continue, bro?
Good shit, fire. Yeah. Even just like looking at the 7th, right, with a dominant Mars, when he was like, she come off aggressive, definitely so, or maybe she liked her partner to come off aggressive. Mm-hmm. Most likely met him through acting or, work, most likely, for that matter. And with that, Jupiter retrograde is probably more of an introvert, and she was like the extrovert, right? So it's kind of like reflections, opposite, but it works together, right? And yeah, this would be interesting. If it was just a solar arc, all that in the third house to her fourth, we can really see a lot of different home changes, career. And you was talking about things with mothers and all that, like that Sun, Mercury, Uranus, Saturn, right? Because that Saturn would have been about maybe 9, right? Uranus about 12. Mercury about 30. Well, yeah, Mercury and Sun about 32. So really a lot of home changes, and it's in Sagittarius, so it just makes sense, right? We look at our fifth house is Aquarius being ruled by Saturn. So Saturn's at 2 degrees in the third. So maybe she met her local love or something of that matter. But yeah. All right, yo, bro. Yep.
All right, Islam, solar return chart. You ready?
Solar return?
Yes. Yep. Solar return
Let me hit
chart.
that next as chart 1. Boom, biggity, wham, slam.
I do remember too the the triplicities you got on the outer wheel. So I just had to remind myself of that too. But I wanted to, how I go in my mind, because earlier I was like, the triplicity that the moon is in, it's like, it's right there in front of my face, but I like going off of nature, making sure I'm memorizing that, oh, it's a Earth Moon in a nocturnal chart. So moon has, triplicity, instead of Venus during the day for Earth. However, we're looking at her solar return chart for 2023, right? 1st December 2023. It's actually taking place on the 1st December 2023 at about 1300 hours, 54 minutes, and 47 seconds, when the sun will be back at 9 degrees, 26 minutes in Sagittarius. However, it's going to be in the Placidus solar return 8th, which is her natal whole sign 3rd. And what will be on the rise is Aries. Aries is clearly on the rise here. What's interesting is that 16 degrees, which is the degree pertaining to children. I think that's interesting that the ascendant says 16 degrees pertaining to children, right? So with that being said, though, with us looking at her solar return, right? Her solar return has the natal 7th on the rise, with her solar return Mars in her natal 3rd, right? With you see Mars is there at 5 degrees, Sagittarius 21 minutes, which is the solar return 8th house, but solar return 9th whole sign though. So that sun and that Mars is in the whole sign 9th house, with the Placidus 8th house for the solar return chart, which technically is her natal whole sign 3rd. So ultimately, for that being said, it just really shows that she's going to be doing a lot of getting to know herself through her interactions with others. Definitely finding ways of relating herself actively through communication to see what she can learn. And 9 times out of 10, not only see what she wants to learn, but she's contemplating being able to pass values down to children. That's something that's strongly on her mind. Definitely being able to find a means to learn as much as she can about family, or compile it together so she has something to pass down to little ones if she's deciding to have a little one or two. Her pre-solar return, lunar return, right? We want to knock this out real quick, right? You don't even really have to do that. We know her lunar return is when it's back in Virgo, right? At 10 degrees, 10 degrees Virgo, 51 minutes and 54 seconds, right? That's when we know it's lunar return. So just to show you guys, like, that was her solar return, right? Was going to be on the rise. Now, before her solar return, which is even right now, her last lunar return was on the 7th of November, 2023. 3rd house was on the rise, right? With, so that's Sag on the rise, but we're just going to say what house it is. Her third whole sign house was on the rise with Jupiter in the natal 8th, but the lunar return 6th. So when it comes to communication, she's really looking at how to, pair her values with someone else, while at the same time finding means of a daily routine of, really being able to expand herself as a couple, right? 4th December is her next lunar return after, so it's the day after her solar return, pardon me, 3 days after her solar return, when she's actually having the same loosening of the bond taking place. And that was a loosening of the bond, if I'm not mistaken, for her part of spirit.
Spirit, yeah.
Yep. So same day she's having a loosening of the bond for part of spirit, which deals with career, is when she's having her lunar return also, right? So maybe she'll get the job or something, or maybe there's some good news in some way, shape, or form. It's very possible. So she having a lunar return on the 4th December. 10th house is on the rise with Moon in Virgo, of course, because that's a lunar return we're looking at, which is her natal 12th, but the lunar return 3rd. So here, that kind of that bit of a balance almost, or really putting to the forefront her career, the things that are really essential when it comes to, this kind of home detail that she's going into, but also maybe there's a lot of communication, some way, shape, or form, but in the bedroom, right? And also not necessarily in an erotic fashion. Like, a lot of conversation is taking place there, and I really think it's thoroughly centered on family. Really strong conversations on family, right? 1st January, 2nd house on the rise with Mars and Sag. That's her natal 3rd, lunar return 2nd for that particular lunar return. Values, right? Possessions, finances, things of that nature. 2nd house is also, it's interesting. It's the 8th house to the 7th, if we look at it like that. So here's where, her, what, maybe self-evaluations of what she, can bring to the relationship based off of what she has within herself, her own joint accounting within herself, and being able to bring that overall accountability to relationships to, be that transformative partner, so to speak, or transformative consort. Let me say that, right? Then we have her lunar return for the 28th January 2024, 6th house, perfection. So health would be a topic for this particular month, right? And Jupiter's there in Taurus still, natal 8th, lunar return 3rd. So health is going to be very huge, and really speaking on how joint energies pertaining to health, and maybe decisions that need to be made pertaining to early childhood development. 24th February 2024, 11th house is going to be on the rise for that month for her, right? So definitely, just maybe some sudden changes or sharing some things, and being, altruistic with, that's Leo on the rise. So the sun is ruling over, that 11th house rising. It'll be in Pisces on that day. It's her natal 6th, but her lunar return 8th. So I really see there's a daily routine of making sure she's communicating these values in the relationships, and making sure she's really sharing who she actually is, and maybe enjoying that, sharing that, to enjoying it to be mutual, actually, a mutual reception of sharing. 22nd March 2024, her 2nd house will be on the rise again, right? Just like on the 1st January. Values, again, it's on the rise. Mars rules her 2nd house, of course, her natal 2nd. It's going to be in the natal 6th, though, in Pisces, in the lunar return 5th. And this is where I think, maybe a practicing of having, a child for a month. Maybe there's a relative or something, possibly. Maybe she decided to adopt, do a temporary adoption or something. I'm not sure if people do things like that or whatever, or maybe getting a pet and treating that pet as the child, you know, to see exactly how things go. And that's going to take place around the 22nd March 2024. On the 19th April 2024, seventh house is on the rise, just like how it was for the solar return, right? So seventh house is on the rise for this lunar return, right? So definitely relationships, contracts, things of that nature comes to the forefront. Mars is going to be in Pisces, however, her natal, which is her natal sixth house with the lunar return 12. So here is where the rubber meets the road in not only the daily routine, but also possibly the hospitality within the bedroom. This may be a little more sexually oriented here, so to speak, and possibly could be the means of one possibly conceiving a child if that's the practice for Zoë Kravitz. Just to kind of put that out there a bit. It's a very strong possibility. All right. If that hasn't already happened, and maybe we don't know about, you know, maybe a miscarriage that could have taken place, possibly things like that, you know, hasn't been publicized, but, you know, I really wasn't, not saying I didn't see that when I was, you know, putting these reports together, but I was just kind of like, nah, you know, just looking at it another way, you know. So here we go. For the 16th May 2024, 11th house is on the rise again, sharing with Sun in Taurus. That's natal 8th, lunar return 10th. So I think here is where there's a possibility of, you know, maybe actually sharing a role with someone, right? Maybe this is dealing with work here, actually. You know, if the whole children thing isn't coming into play, this is where work will be pretty chill here. I think it's going to be really awesome. What I mean by that is there may be some like co-starring opportunity that may take place around the 16th May 2024. Lunar return for the 12th June 2024, right? Communication is definitely on the rise. The third house is on the rise with Jupiter in Gemini, which is interesting because the third house is Sag. So Jupiter is traditional ruler for Sag. That's her natal 9th, lunar return 7th. And this is where I think communication with her loved ones is going to be very paramount. Maybe even some long distance loved ones that haven't been seen for a minute, or this is where two families are coming together to meet with one another, right? And enjoy themselves and have a conversation at a restaurant. 10th July 2024, her 9th house is on the rise, higher learning, right? Back to that, the 9th house is Gemini with Mercury in Leo. That's her natal 11th and lunar return 3rd. So here I can really see really kind of sharing that what she's been reading, maybe some ideas about publishing or something that she had a conversation about, and she's actually being able to find some type of published article or presentation that is in harmony with something that she's been really studying. And after that month, then the 6th August 2024, first house is on the rise, right? Pertaining to self, right? That's Libra, right? Who's on the rise. And with that being said, hold on one moment. It's the second time I call. Peace. I know it. Just a bunch of nothing. That's why I don't answer them calls. That's why I don't answer them. Because people just want to just, you know, ooh, let me see if I pick up. Just keep hitting end next time. End. You call twice in a row. Must be an emergency. That's the only way I look at it sometimes. 6th August 2024, first house on the rise. That's Libra, of course. That's her rising. Venus is in Virgo, right? So Venus is technically, in its fall sign, so to speak. That's the natal 12th and lunar return 12th, right? So I think here is where on 6th August 2024, this is probably where she would do her best just to kind of maybe have some time to herself, go into a meditation session, do some yoga, keep herself isolated for that particular month to just kind of get her bearings together, or be able to do that by helping others, maybe helping with like a pageant or something, or helping people get makeovers or something like that. It's very possible, right? For the 2nd September 2024, 5th house is on the rise for her. So children and self-expression kind of come to that forefront, which her 5th house is Aquarius. Of course, traditionally Saturn is ruling it. However, it's still in Pisces come September 2nd, 2024. That's our natal 6th and lunar return 2nd. So I think here is 9 times out of 10, if it's not, quote unquote, bring your children to work kind of day, maybe this is another role being acted where maybe she plays a mom of some sort, or her and her mother do something together as far as, acting is concerned, writing and acting. 29th September 2024, 10th house is on the rise. Again, that's her career and essentials, just like the first lunar return after a solar return, right? Moon, of course, we know is in Virgo. That's our natal 12th and lunar return 3rd here. And so here again is where we're revisiting, right? The things that are essential to the career and being able to have that, conversation about career and relationship, probably while laying there in the bedroom somewhere, right? Or, at a hotel, right? 12th house natal. 27th September 2024 is the next lunar return, pardon me, after that. First house on the rise again, right? Venus is in Sag on this one, right? Natal 3rd, lunar return 3rd. And I really see just probably some type of confidence in the mirror type energy, or even putting out her own produced commercial for something. Kind of see that happening also. 23rd November 2024, right? 6 houses on the rise, so we know that's dealing with service, pets, daily routine. Jupiter is in Gemini during this time, ruling over Pisces, which is her natal 6th house. Gemini is her natal 9th and lunar return 4th. And here's where I see incorporating everything that she went over from the start of her lunar, from her solar return 2023. There is a combination coming to it, and maybe even possibly giving a speech on what she's learned about motherhood and childbearing and things of that nature, because maybe she's just doing that as a study. Then that's the last lunar return on the 23rd November 2024 before her next solar return. And that lunar return after her solar return 2024 is having 11th house back on the rise with the sun in Sagittarius, because our 11th whole sign house is Leo, and that's the natal 3rd and 5th. And I think that just really speaks to more about, sharing, all righty, with children, things about early childhood development. I'm just really kind of sticking with it right there. Let's go to our progress chart, Brother Sean, and we know that she is natally a Libra ascendant, sun in Sagittarius, moon in Virgo. However, her progressed ascendant is Scorpio. All right, progressed ascendant is Scorpio. All right. And so we have the progressed descendant in Scorpio, right? Which is her natal second, right? Mars is in her natal seventh, but in her progress chart, Mars is in her sixth house, right? So the way she does things, even with the natal chart that we read, there's some progression of being able to really be beneficial, right? Be able to be valuable when it comes to, I think production is one thing, something definitely behind the scenes, but finding a way of being able to work behind the scenes with other people. And it's not just, oh, I have to have this type of work ethic, but being able to internalize herself, those same things that I read earlier about, her overall Mars in her natal chart, with that Mars having that daily routine in order to excrete, right? Get rid of self-activated relationship hindrances. So I'm just seeing that being even more of her just really, getting to exercising the psychology within herself so that she wins, so that she actually gets exactly what it is that she's, set her mind on to actually obtain. Secondary progressed sun is in Capricorn, right? So she's a secondary progressed Capricorn. That's our natal fourth, right? Capricorn. Saturn's in her, natal fourth, but progressed third, right? Progressed third, of course. So yeah, here a lot of communication with mom, a lot of mom communication. Really considering two things about what type of house one would like, while also at the same time, a lot of conversation with elders, just in general, even if it's father and grandfather or fathers, like her and her consorts, if that is taking place, right? Secondary progressed moon, however, which is really going to give us a signature of how things may come to head, particularly looking at other charts. Moon's in Sag in her secondary progress chart. All right, that's her natal third. Jupiter, of course, is in Taurus, right? So she's having the Jupiter return ultimately coming up, right? And Taurus is her natal eighth, right? Secondary progress seventh. And this is just more, communicating about the transformation in relationships. So maybe possible things about matrimonial obligation that may also take place over this next year, possibly. When looking into our solar arc development analysis, which then will lead us into Brother Sean closing us out with Wikipedia. One thing, I want to start from younger ones and get to the older ones. When she was about 2 years old and 3 months, this is where I think, maybe either, progenitor, mother or father, was possibly hospitalized, or maybe, there was some type of mind-altering experience, so to speak, that took place. But she's too young to actually know. So only people that would know is mother and father of what happened. That could have been some type of institutional change for her. Maybe that's when she, at 2 years, 3 months, she was showing promise of being able to read. So maybe she's attended school early. It's a very strong possibility. When she was 3 years old, 6 months and 12 days, that is where I see Mars and a descendant conjuncting, right? What I just had to say there was, maybe there was some, activities with relatives, maybe having some fun, maybe, and I keep seeing mother possibly, but maybe just with mother and father overall, having some fun. Maybe that was like she got a power wheel or something, you know what I mean? Because I'm seeing wheels in my head. And for some reason, I saw like a tricycle of some sort or a four-wheeler at 3 years old. So that could have been like power wheels, something that she only knows. or well, our parents, our mother and father knows. And why am I going over this again? We're just giving you a pinky nails clipping of something we could, do just to look at. And so, I want you to recognize we just went through the sect, perfections, right? For Zodiacal releasing, solar return, all the lunar returns from solar return to solar return, right? Even pre-lunar return for the solar return 2023 and the post-lunar return after the solar return 2024. Looked at the secondary progress chart, and now we're also looking at, this is not just all this is not all we do. That's not really just even the process in the order that I did it. I just did it this way just to be able to back up, because Brother Sean was like, yo, we want to knock out Zoe's chart, and I'm like, all right, cool. That's a bet. So I just wanted to be able to bring it back up. So after 3 years old, what I see next is 9 years old, right? Only she would know again. However, this is energy that I think with Saturn conjuncting the IC, I think here at 9 years old and 6 days, about 9 years old, just 6 days after her ninth solar return, this might have been something where she was able to, do something that was obviously transformational. Maybe her father helped her to get some type of gig or something, doing some type of commercial possibly, or maybe she was able to get a script to act in something, possibly. Maybe he brought on stage or whatever for one of the shows, right, when she was 9. After that, when she was about 11 years old, 1 month and 12 days, we have Uranus conjunct the Imam Jelly, right? Conjunct the IC. There's a move here. There was a move. I don't know where they moved to, but there was a move from one house to another when she was about 11 years old, 1 month and 12 days. 11 years, 1 month, 12 days old. Now we look a little more forward, right? For the next 4. What I'm going to look at here now is when she was 29 years old. When she was 29 years old, this is where Venus conjuncts the ascendant at 29 years, 6 months and 24 days old. I think this is where there was some sort of recognition or acknowledgement of herself. Maybe she found her niche in how to market herself. Maybe there was a means to be highly artistic. Maybe she knew that she was having a Saturn return this time. So she found ways of probably changing her look or beautifying herself a certain way according to her particular standards. At 33 years old, which is just a couple of years ago, Pluto conjunct the ascendant. And this is where I was thinking, like, what's, transformation happened there possibly. Maybe it was some form of power that she feels she has, or maybe this is where, possible pregnancy taking place but didn't stick. Also, when she was about 33 years, 5 months, and 12 days old. Now, to look ahead, we would have to see when she's 41 years old. Jupiter's conjunct her midheaven. I think when she's 41, 1 month and 12 days old, this is where something's going to happen with acting. I think it's really going to pop for her. Probably some type of role in some type of film or show, and it's going to really bring even more to the forefront for her when she's 41 years, 1 month, 12 days old. And finally, Jupiter conjunct the descendant at 49 years old, right? Going in converse fashion. At 49 years, 9 months, and 18 days, when Jupiter conjuncts the descendant, I think here is where there will be something not only just pertaining to relationships, but maybe here is where she'll, be able to contract a deal of some sort, really pertaining to her writing and production for theater and film. All right. Any questions, comments, and or suggestions? Brother C. Thomas says Islam to you. What do you think, Brother Sean? We want to add anything there, bro?
I think back to her solar return. I'll pull that back up. Because it was interesting because her seventh house was on the rise. Oh, nope, it's 2022. So let me hit next. I'm gonna make it a short one. Yeah, her seventh house is on the rise. Oh, I just wanted this short one. Thank you. So let me make that. All right, our seventh house is on the rise at Chiron. So I think, yeah, she's gonna have like a blast from the past, especially from her like early childhood or early relationships. Because let's see, Mars will be in her whole sign third in Sagittarius at 5 degrees. So I think she'll have a lot of healing like from past friends, past dealings, and all these different places. Because we aware of or stated that, she moved multiple times. So all these multiple places that she had moved to, she will receive this healing from and be in contact with some people. And let's see, it's a 12th house perfection and her son's in the 8th. Yeah, I think she'd be able to plan to vision out some things for her life or actions. Yeah, even the whole children thing is definitely signing on point too. And yeah, this is definitely still during that Venus Saturn mutual reception by exaltation, Saturn the 11th, Venus and the 7th. Right in this chart, but in the first and sixth house, right? Whole sign. Oh man, these dogs farted and stink. Whew. Man, bro, I'm glad you've been going in. But with that going, so yeah, a lot of contracts and just things that are foreign. So maybe seeing some hopes realized or having some funding. And then too, when you was talking about the children, I just think, yeah, she'll be able to kind of put on in a sense. Maybe some things will come out, or maybe she'll decide to share some things from our like private life and our home life about children, whether she's been able to bear children or, whether she's wanting to be like kind of a godmother to children and assist for those in like talent and acting. Right, that because yeah, Mercury's conjunct part of victory, Moon's conjunct part of necessity. So I sense it'll be a good year if she can just really bite down on some things. Mercury's in the 8th, so Mercury's got that stick on things.
You just made me think of the word surrogacy. Wow, that'll be interesting. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm just saying unbiasedly, it'll be interesting if surrogacy is something that she's been studying too, just as a part of, I guess, motherhood and childbearing overall. Go ahead, I yield.
Indeed. Yeah, she pretty much hit the solar arc, Zodiacal, and because we won't go any further on to, many other things that we can look at, we're gonna bark, wiki, bark.
Yeah, we could probably see what happens with Wikipedia as far as what was said about the solar arc directions or whatever. So it is what it is, right? So okay, so I said, what about the solar arc directions? One thing I said was, okay, so she was born in 88, right? So we're not going to have what happened at 2 years and 3 months, or 3 years, 6 months and 12 days, or maybe even 9 years, 6 days, or 11 years, because even 11 years would be 99. And I don't see really anything prior to 2007 here so far as we've seen, right? So what we can do is just go straight to 29 years old, 29 years, 6 months, and 24 days. So this is technically just 24 days after her Saturn return, if we were to look at it mathematically like that. That would be the year, if I'm not mistaken, that would be 2017. So 2017, I was saying that, within that 2017, 2018, actually, that's where this whole Venus ascendant conjunction, according to the zodiacal, pardon me, solar arc direction. So it's like what happened in 2017, 2018. Look at that. Kravitz was ranked one of the best dressed women in 2018 by fashion website. And that's why I said it was something about her look. Do you see that right there?
Illusion, yeah.
It's what it say, 61 after it. Keep going, keep going, keep going down, down, down. Right there, right there. No. See where 61 says? Kind of says 61 right there. Yeah. But after it, after 61, Kravitz was ranked one of the best dressed women. And that's funny because we don't read these things, but that's why I said, like, there's some, when we looking at this, and again, this is so you guys can schedule you readings with us. You know, go to sevenhillstar.com, sign up for our email list, go to our Instagram or our TikTok and DM us, or you know the number 443-376-8764, and you just text us, right? All right. So with that being said, we can get the session going for you guys. Mirror is the best thing to start off with first. This is more after you come for a mirror session. I do something like this. All right. Usually a mirror session, of course, first and foremost, is so that you can actually know what's being talked about, because this is you. Why not know who ye are, right? All right. So we see that with 2018. It says she also appeared in 2018 science fiction film Kin and reprised her role as Lita Lestrange in Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald in a larger capacity. Also in 2018, she appeared on BBC Children in Need. Look at that, Children in Need, with Eddie Redmayne or Redmayne, setting up Alex Jones from the One Show with the help of children who fed them the answers to the interview questions. See, told you, like, it's funny how children just popped up so much already. But that was just analyzing her 2018, right? Because by having the December solar return, 29 years, 6 months, and 24 days old would have been well in 2014. And that's what I'm saying. You solar arc the ascendant to Venus, right? Or solar arc Venus conversely to the ascendant. That's just what I'm seeing when she's 29 years, 6 months, and 24 days old. So I'm not surprised that it had to do something with, like I said, Kravitz was ranked one of the best dressed women in 2018 by fashion website Net-a-Porter. Interesting. Didn't even know that, right? Maybe we can also look at 33 years of age, right? That would have been 2021, 2022, right? And what was I saying there? That was a Pluto conjunct ascendant solar arc direction. So conversely, Pluto to the ascendant or directing the ascendant to Pluto. I'm looking at the 2021, 2022 that there being some type of self-transformation. Period. So let's see what we got here. Oh, look at that. In June 2021, Kravitz announced plans to make her directorial debut in Pussy Island, a film she also co-wrote. Remember I said there's something about, maybe doing some production and writing and stuff like that. It's so amazing, bro. I'm so glad I don't read these till you bring them up in the live, bro. I love this. In August 2021, it was announced that Kravitz will star and serve as an executive producer on the coming-of-age animated series Fatty Patty, bankrolled with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett's Westbrook Studios. Looky, Astro Cookie. In June 2022, it was announced that Kravitz will star in and produce the heist thriller The Sundance Kid Might Have Some Regrets for Warner Brothers. So that just kind of lets me know that those were all these so-called transformational changes for her life, right? At 33 years, 5 months, and 12 days old, which, like I said, 2021, 2022-ish, right? So that's interesting. Anything else, bro? Because that's all we can touch on. Because when she turns 41 and 49, we would have to wait for that, right?
Let's see, like to date, people she worked with, Ezra Miller during filming, relationship with an actor. Looks like she got engaged in 2018, married.
Oh, there's the engagement. Really? And she filed for a divorce. Interesting. No children though, huh?
Don't look like it. Let's see. Nope, that's all just that.
Yeah, go back to that though, because that's what it is. I could not think of it as that Albion's son's name earlier. Channing Tatum, correct. Oh, so there's the engagement. That's what I was talking about. The whole family, all that stuff, man. That's interesting. Interessante. They became engaged in 2018. So that's what else happened in 2018 too, then, for her when after her Saturn return. I knew it. Okay. That's that whole Venus conjunct the ascendant. Got it. That's that too. Right? Because Venus is the relationship planet, even though Mars is ruling her seventh house, ruling over Venus in Scorpio. Not surprised that matrimonial obligation took place at her father's home in Paris. Right? Look at that. She filed for divorce over a little over a year later, which was finalized in 2021 in August, which is the same year she's dating Channing Tatum, right? And reportedly got engaged in 2023. Interesting. That's interesting. I have nothing else to say there. Any questions, comments, and/or suggestions? Going once. I say you guys just go back and look at everything that was said and then pay attention to Zoë Kravitz over the next, 6 to 13 years. 6 to 14 years-ish. So with that being said, guys, questions, comments, and/or suggestions going Twizzers. 7hillstar.com. Sign up for our email list. You guys already know. We got Wednesday coming up. 7-day Tropical Medical Astro Weather Report. Friday, Impromptu Improv. Continuing on the Call of Destiny Book 1. Saturday, Astrology Concept Correction Discussion. Show up. Show out. Donate, guys. If you're not a member, become a lifetime member, though. If you like to not have to keep, giving, your donation every Saturday pertaining to it being, 30, you're not, because you're not a member without a student card, or you are a student, you have a student card or whatever, but it's still 15 for you. And then you guys already know it's at least 10 for the video access. Alrighty, as far as at least a 10-unit donation. Right. So with that being said, guys, we're no questions, comments, and no suggestions going through his eyes. I'm about to go and help my baby with our baby. Mm-hmm. I can hear him downstairs, man. That's why I was trying to let me hurry up and get through this list. However, get your mirror AstroLiteracy sessions with Brother Hassan Ghazi Obey. Get your mental magician report with Brother Shanalim L. No more questions, comments, and no suggestions going thrice. We'll see you all next day for Newbie Tuesday with Lawful Living, and those that will join us on Thursday also for Lawful Living, going in on the PMAP, right? Private Ministerial Action Process group, right? So with that being said, guys, on behalf of 7 Hill Star, Brother Hassan Ghazi Obey, Brother Shanalim L, Brother Terrell Tamari Bay, Brother Koi Bay, and Brother R. Muaba Bay, this is where we say to you all, we love you all. Namaste.
And the Astro Pups.
Namaste and the Astro Pups. Namaste. Islam, 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 y'all. Peace. Peace.